Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Shaw here, and I thought I would just give you a quick rundown of what to expect in Unit 3, Algebra 1, Semester 1. Okay, so just real quick, I'm going to talk about three things today. I'm going to talk about inequalities, compound inequalities, and then absolute value. And so I will just kind of give you a really quick rundown, just what to expect, and let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so the first thing to know for inequalities, again, you're just like, if you're to see something really simple, something like this, like x is greater than 3. So when you go to graph this, what you're looking for, okay, is here's your number line, here's 3, okay, and the first thing, sorry, the terrible 3. Again, the first thing you need to notice is that there's no, just says x is greater than 3, okay? Again, I always tell my kids that this is like a little alligator, and so it's that means that whatever x is going to be a number that's larger, and the alligator's hungry and it wants to eat the bigger meal. So again, when you say greater than, and I also can kind of tell, as long as x is on the left side, the variable is on the left side, you can kind of make this into a little arrow, okay? And you can kind of use that to help you know where your arrow is going to go. So anytime if there's no bar under here, which means greater than or equal to, that means that your circle is going to be open. Okay, you're going to have an open circle, okay, and so again, you see here I can put the numbers around it. So this would be 2, this would be 4, etc., etc. So now what your arrow is going to go to the right. And I should use I'll use a different color for future graphs. Okay, so that's going to be x is greater than 3. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say y is less than or equal to negative 4. Okay, so then we need our number line again. It's not very straight, but that's okay. Again, here's negative 4. Okay, and then over here we'll have negative 5. And then negative 3. Again, remember, negative numbers go the opposite direction. All right, so this time we have the equal to sign here. So again, that means that our circle is going to be closed. Okay, so when I do this, it's going to be a closed circle. Okay, and this time I'm going to make my pen a little thicker here. Okay, so now this time it's less than. Again, remember my arrow. Okay, I can kind of make this into a little arrow here. Okay, since the variable's on the left, I can just go. I'm gonna shade in to the left. Okay, so again, this is y is less than or equal to 4. Again, if you see this equal bar here, that means that your circle is filled in. Okay, no equal bar, open circle. Okay, again, and so I really encourage you to make sure that your variable is always on the left side. And let's do one where it's not. And I'll show you kind of how to manage that one. All right, so let's say we had, I don't know, 10 is greater than or equal to z. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my line. Okay, so here is going to be 10. 9 will be here. 11 will be here. Let's do, looks like a fun sparkly color. Let's do it. Okay, so then again, just drawing now again, here's the thing. What I would do here is I would flip this entire thing around. And you got to be really careful when you do that because it's really easy to get confused. But what I would do is I would just put my z on the other side. I put my 10 over here, but I have to flip this around. So what you're going to see is this is going, instead of a greater than sign, this is now going to be a less than or equal to sign. So now it's really easy to graph. Now I can just graph it like the other ones. So I'll get my sparkly pen here, okay, and then I will go ahead and I'll say, okay, so this is going to be a filled in circle, okay, and then again, so you see here it's a less than, so less than is going to be this way, and the sparkly pen is just delightful. Okay, and there you have it. That's inequalities. That's really all you need to know for that. Let's go ahead and let's move on to compound inequalities. I'm going to actually include solving here. So I'm going to say compound inequalities / solving. So let's go ahead and just solve first. So let's say I have 3x plus 2 is less than 9. 9? 8 seems better. Let's do that. Okay, so again, just regular solving. Again, I need to get my x by itself. So the first step here, I want to subtract 2 from both sides. Okay, so now I'll have that cancel. So it'll be 3x is less than 6. Divide by 3. And x is less than 2 is my answer. Okay, so now again, this time what I want to do is I want to show you what happens if you have a negative answer. Okay, or you have if you have to divide or multiply by a negative. So let's do something like this. Let's say x, I'll do it easy here. Let's go negative 2x minus 3 is greater than or equal to negative 4. Lots of negatives in here. Let's do it. All right, so again, just going to get this by itself. So add 3 to both sides. Okay, so this is going to be negative 2x is greater than or equal to negative 1. And I'm going to divide by negative 2. Now, this is where things get tricky. So again, I know my x is going to be here by itself. I know my answer over here is going to be, again, negative divided by a negative is a positive, so this is going to be 1/2. Okay, but the thing is anytime you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the sign around. Okay, so again, you're going to see here, that's kind of confusing. Let me move that up a little bit. Okay. So this is going to be now flipped around. So instead of greater than or equal to, it's going to be less than or equal to. So again, anytime you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip that sign around before you start graphing. Okay? All right. So now let's get into a compound inequality. So let's say we had, there's 2 types of compound inequalities. So the first one, let's say we had, there's ones that are going to look like this. It'll be 3 is less than x plus 4, which is less than or equal to, I don't know, let's say 10. Okay, so this is a compound inequality. Okay, and so what you're going to do is you need to get the x by itself. Since this looks a little different, though, you need to make sure that so like, again, to get the x by itself, you're going to subtract 4 from both sides. So you know you need to do it over here because this looks like a traditional inequality, but you also need to subtract 4 from over here. Okay, so now this, again, the 4 minus 4 cancels here. So now 3 minus 4 is negative 1, which is less than x, which is less than or equal to 10 minus 4 is 6. So the hard part's over here. We have 2 answers, and the answers are going to be x is less than or equal to 6 or x is greater than negative 1, but we need to graph that still. So what that's going to look like when I go onto my graph, okay, is it's going to, so here's negative 1. Okay, I'll just go ahead and write it all out here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and I need to go ahead and I need to draw this. So again, you see here, there's no equal bar. So this is going to be an open circle, okay, over here. And then over here, you see the equal bar. So it's going to be a closed circle over here. And now the best part about these types is that you just fill in what's inside. So this is the type of graph that you're going to be looking for. So, okay, whenever you see a problem like this. Okay, that shouldn't be anything too crazy for you. Just again, you're going to solve it like normal. Just make sure you do what's the same thing on both sides of the compound inequality. There is another type of compound inequality that it'll look like this. It'll be something like I want to make sure I get it right here. So let's say it's going to be let's say 2x plus 3 is greater than 6, or x, let's see, so greater than 1/2. So let's see, x plus 4 is less than negative 1. Okay, so this is it. Now I'm going to show you how to do this one. You're going to solve this one just like you have 2. This time you just need to do the same thing that you did do in any sort of solving, but you're going to do it twice, and you're going to have 2 graphs on one number line. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve these real quick. So subtract 3 from both sides over here. So I have 2x is greater than 3. Divide by 2. X is greater than, again, 3 divided by 2 is just 1.5. Or I could just keep it as 3 over 2, so that's fine. I'll just put 1.5. Okay, and then over here, I'm going to do the same. This one's easier. I'm just going to subtract 4. And this one is going to be x is less than negative 5. So let's go ahead and let's draw my number line here. Okay, so I'm going to have negative 5 over here, and I'll have 1 over here. So my circle over here is going to be like right in between 1 and 2. I'll put a 2 right here. So it's going to be right in between those. So let's go ahead and graph. That's fine. Let's use red again. So these are going to be both open circles because there's no equal bar underneath either of them. Okay. And then this time you see, so x is less than negative 5. So I'm going to go ahead and shade to the left. Okay. And then over here, x is greater than 1.5. Whoops, I actually I made a mistake there. I'm so sorry. So here's 1 again. Sorry, so I just put it in the wrong place. So this should be at 1.5. So that'll be about right here. And I'm going to shade this way. So this is my answer. So these two, again, like the test is going to ask you for 2 separate answers. It's going to ask you for the solution, whatever the solution is to the problem, and it's also going to ask you for the graph. So this is what the graph looks like, and these are going to be your solutions, okay? So just be careful with that. Again, anytime you see an or, okay, it's going to look like this. This is what we call an and problem. Okay, an and problem is where it'll be kind of 2 graphs kind of combined, and you're going to shade what's in between. All right, last one, real quick, as I want to do some absolute value or problems, and I'll show you kind of what to expect with these as well. So for let's just say absolute value looks like this. So it'd be something like absolute value of x is greater than, I don't know, let's just say negative 3. So what that means is you have actually 2 problems here. So the absolute value of x, the absolute value of x actually can't, I'm getting ahead of myself. You actually can't have, let me just change that to a regular 3 and then that'll work. So since absolute value actually, it can't be negative, and I'll get to that just in a second. But anyway, so let's go ahead and let's get to it. So here is my number line. So what you're going to do is you're going to have one graph that's going to look exactly like this. Okay, so it's going to be x is greater than 3, or, again, since you can put in a negative 3 here, the absolute value of negative 3 is 3, so you can have x is less than negative 3. Okay, so then you're going to put negative 3 here and positive 3 over here. Again, you don't see any, let's use my sparkly pen again. Why not? Okay, again, so you're going to just, no equal bar, so those are going to be open circles. And you're going to shade this way for the negative 3. And for the greater than 3, again, open circle and shade this way. Okay, let's do a real quick, I'll do a different one and we'll see how it works out. So this is a solving one, so let's go absolute value of negative 2x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 10. Okay, so again, I'm going to write 2 equations here. So the first one's going to be just as exactly as you see it. Negative 2x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 10, or negative 2x plus 3 is less than or equal to negative 10. Is that right? Sorry, thinking. Yes. I believe that's right. Sorry, I'm coming up with this off the top of my head, so I'm just making sure that I don't want to lead you astray here. I believe that's correct. So let's go ahead. Yes, because I added a negative and I switched that around. So sorry. It's too early in the morning for this. All right, so let's go ahead and solve now. So we're going to go subtract 3 here from both sides. Negative 2x is greater than or equal to 7. divide by -2. Now, remember what I told you earlier. Okay, again, since you are dividing by a negative, you need to flip your sign around. So x is going to be less than or equal to, again, 7 over -2 is going to be -3.5. Okay, same problem over here. Let's go ahead and solve. So subtract 3, subtract 3. Okay, so -2x is less than or equal to, again, this is -13. And then divide by a -2. And again, you're going to want to flip your sign around. So x is going to be greater than or equal to, this negative over a negative is a positive. So this is going to be positive 6.5. All right, so let's graph it. And then I will leave you with my super quick lesson on absolute value and inequalities. All right, so here we go. So this is going to be -4. This will be -3. And then over here, I'll do 6 and 7. Let's go ahead and graph. So again, you see both of them have the equal bar. So I'm going to go ahead and have that. They're going to be, this is -3.5. This is positive 6.5. So greater than or equal to is going to be like this. Less than or equal to will be shaded like this. So again, the thing you need to understand about absolute value, guys, is just make sure whenever you're setting up your second equation, you flip the sign and then you make whatever is over here negative. Okay. Same thing if it's a more complicated one, you need to just write an equation, drop the absolute value bars, and then make a second equation where you flip the sign. Okay, and then you make that whatever is on the right side negative, and you should be able to solve that. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. As always, if you guys need any help with anything like that, please just send me a message, and I'm happy to help. Take it easy.